Hello guys, and today we will have perhaps one of the most interesting lessons of the Russian geography, and all because Ukrainian intelligence reached Vladivostok. Vladivostok is far east of Russia or maybe even China, because until the 19th century this city, this port on the Pacific Ocean, had a Chinese name. And in Chinese books they actually started naming it in the Chinese way again, because China has its plans for the future collapse of the Russian Federation. But so far, we will discuss an important attack on their base Desantnaya in Vladivostok that is the result of very well, carefully planned actions of the Ukrainian intelligence. And this is indeed record-breaking, taking into account that it's not just far away from the Ukrainian borders, it is literally on the other side of the world. Another important thing is that we develop our drone technologies. And today I'm in Kyiv on Book Arsenal, which is a very famous book fair here in Ukraine. I have seen President Zelensky, and President Zelensky recently spoke about a very interesting drone operation when 400 small Ukrainian drones simultaneously targeted 40 various armored vehicles of Russia and successfully demilitarized that. There are no signs of ceasefire or real peace coming to Ukraine, unfortunately, because Russian troops keep advancing close to the front lines in Sumy, and we have to be prepared to fight back, and to fight back seriously until the complete defeat and demilitarization of Russia. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin regime, subscribe, we will discuss that on the channel sometime really soon. That's important for safety, security and justice on the planet, not just in Europe or Ukraine. So let's start with this tremendous news from Vladivostok. Vladivostok is a city in the far east of Russia. It's a port city located on the Pacific Ocean. Since the Soviet times, it was actively used as a military base because it is closely located to India, to China, and quite often in that territory they have special trainings, just as Ukrainians train with NATO forces, they do with Chinese and Indian. And honestly, as a Ukrainian, I am very dissatisfied. I am very sorry for the words that I hear from General Kellogg, who keeps repeating that Russia's concerns about NATO are justified. No, the only reason why Russia does not want Ukraine in NATO is because it understands that when Ukraine in NATO, it cannot keep destroying and attacking us again and again and again. NATO is a defense alliance. Everybody knows that. Everybody sees that NATO is not prepared even to defend itself, because Russians constantly violate the borders of NATO countries in Romania, in Poland, in the Baltic Sea. They are preparing special military operations for these countries. That is vivid. But many people, unfortunately, are cowards right now and keep looking for, options how not to answer. I am happy in this case to live in Ukraine, the country that stands firm against Russia. So in that Vladivostok, there are a number of Russian military bases, very important for them from, first of all, this war perspective, but also from the point of view of this international image of Russia that is already seriously undermined by the success of the Ukrainian forces in Kursk, in Belgorod, in Moscow, explosions on a daily basis, and they have to close their airports. But recently, these explosions, two explosions that took place on the military base Desantnaya in Vladivostok, located really close to China, really close to India, on the shores of the Pacific Ocean. Just imagine, just go and check a map and you will see how far away Ukraine from Vladivostok. And we are able to conduct operations there. I am super proud, and I hope this will persuade you that not just Russia can, it will be defeated. Subscribe to witness that together, and please share these videos to help us fight against these toxic Russian narratives that unfortunately still dominate internet. And also support our 5th NAFO campaign. It is amazing because we have almost reached our goal, and we will be able to help 3 Ukrainian brigades with trucks that they need and drones. And you know, drones deliver justice. Justice is important. So that base in Vladivostok was responsible for a number of joint trainings between Russia and India. And I think that more and more evil partners of Russia, like China, will see that Russia is definitely not a partner you can believe can win, like they don't have cards, speaking in Trump's language. And another important thing, recently Ukrainian drones broke a record because a new technology was used. That was a flock of Ukrainian drones, or a swarm, whatever term you prefer. By the way, let me know in the comments below, how do you like to name these groups of drones? What is the most suitable term in your languages? What do you come across in your newspapers, websites that are interesting, so that I use the correct term? But recently 400 small Ukrainian drones attacked Russian convoy and destroyed 40 military vehicles of Russia simultaneously. And that is the future of war, and one more reason why not just Ukraine needs NATO, but NATO also needs Ukraine, because these skills, this understanding of modern drone war, of the usage of artificial intelligence, drone interceptors, is something that we possess, also unfortunately Russians possess, North Korean possess, and Chinese very carefully learn and develop. And I do not see the proper reaction in countries that are our partners, in countries that are the backbone of NATO. Please do not let weak people who are not going to live in the next generations on this planet, who do not think about these future generations, decide and let Putin veto NATO decisions. The moment Putin is allowed to veto the decisions of the defense alliance that wants to be strong, that wants to, prevent any future military operation with just the image of strength, this will be an epic failure. And I hope that countries that know what Russia is, like Czechia, like the Baltics, will prevent that and will persuade people that it's not the right way to let Russia manipulate the opinion, to let Russia terrorize the world and veto the decisions of the United States, France, Germany, or Lithuania. That would be very wrong. Because from what we observe, Putin is not preparing for a ceasefire, but he's preparing for a new summer offensive. Unfortunately, summer, spring is a good season, and they are amassing a huge group of soldiers on the borders of Sumy and Kharkiv regions. There are constant drone attacks, and we can see they are slowly moving in that direction. We are prepared. We know that we are, a way more experienced than we were back in 2022, but we also have to be realistic. And trust me, those trainings that they want to conduct in Belarus is not just about Ukraine. That can be dangerous also for the Baltics, for Balkan countries, and for the whole world, because unfortunately this authoritarian violence is contagious. But I do believe that bravery, strength, and the desire to help the democratic world is way more contagious. Just have a look at Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Remember to follow me on Instagram. I will share my meeting with President Zelensky. I'm joking, like he was just passing by, but really close, so you can see it there. Follow me on Instagram, on X, on Threads, on Blue Sky, and Discord community. Check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Also follow me on my new channel, Anna Danilchuk. And thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. That is a great honor. And most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!